experience is the experiment.
Mr. Pretty Ridiculous, we're back. We're back, baby. We're back.
Mr. Prtty Ridiculous is really funny.
That's my dad.
That's actually the first time. That was my father's name.
You did say that. You're right. How you been, brother? Welcome back on the podcast.
Thank you.
Here, we'll smoke
Thank you
yours
for
and then
having
we'll
me.
smoke mine.
Yeah, we'll start here. Things have been good, man. Showed you all the stuff I've been cooking up.
It's been fucking ridiculous.
It was a good year.
Pretty
2022 was a really good
Dude,
year.
it was. Did I meet you this year?
October, I think 21.
That was 21?
Mhm.
That's crazy. Why? Wow. Time flies. That's wild. And now, since then, I've seen you at least 4 or 5 times a month, bare minimum.
Is that often? It really is.
I mean,
I'm struggling with this joint,
jams,
Bradley.
Shabbats. Is it packed too tight?
It just doesn't want to go.
Yeah, sometimes those pre-rolls, they use such ground up shit. If it doesn't work, I got another one here.
I got it.
Nah, we're getting there. Cheers, my dude.
Cheers. Oh, there's liquor here.
We got liquor.
yes.
It works quicker.
Cheers, man. There's quicker.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, man. Welcome back to me.
Welcome
Me talking
back
myself.
to you, Mr. Gimp Suit himself.
Mr. Gimpsuit. Thankfully, I think I've put that part of me to bed. It's in the closet.
I hope not. I hope next time.
Nah,
Dude,
there's more Gimpsuits to be had, but
I have a new idea.
what's your idea?
So have you ever seen? Have you ever seen? What's his name? Joe Rogan has a podcast he's been doing. Well, his podcast, but he does one with.
Oh, really?
What's his name? I'll remember it, and I'll hopefully, if I remember it, I'll put it here. If I don't, then I'm just doing this. But every single time he does a podcast with this guy, who's his good buddy, they dress up as something crazy for it.
Oh.
And I'm blanking on the name, but after this will be the last one where we don't dress up.
Well, Bradley, picture this.
Mm-hmm.
I say nothing. You have no awareness of me coming. You know, we've scheduled a pod time, as we did for this exact endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
I say nothing leading up to that time. I walk through that door.
Yep.
What am I wearing?
A gimp suit.
Gimp suit.
A
How
gimp-
would you would, no one, I love you and you love me, we're good friends. No one would turn around and be like, hey man, great to see you. Everyone would ask questions right away.
I think I know about it too well. I've watched the video of you talking about it, editing it so many times that, to be honest, I don't know if I would laugh.
I mean, I'm going to do it,
I would laugh.
but you'd have to. But here's the thing. So we can kind of get into a mantra that's kind of fallen into my lap over the last few months. And the idea is basically commit to the bit.
For
And
real.
It's the same thing for just every facet of your life. Just commit to the bit.
Absolutely.
And in this case, I literally am committing to the bit. I brought a gimp suit to a gunfight. I thought I would make friends.
Dude, I think if you don't like somebody in a gimp suit, you're lying. A gimp suit is, it's like the I don't even know where I was going to go with this. I have nothing.
I told you it was a women's large, right?
It was a women's
It's a
large.
women's large. So here's the story. It's really funny. So Luis is going to become increasingly relevant, and in earnest has been instrumental in all of the visual and creative directing that's been done over the past year with the project. And he did the most recent video song Plastic coming out January 27th. Some shameless self promotion. Video.
That's what you're here
The video
for,
will be
baby.
on the 30th. I believe that is a Monday.
Which we just watched, and I got
Bradley
to see
and I
for the
did.
first time.
Did watch it just prior to roasting this bone and talking about gimp suits, which I now must carry. I must carry that weight forever. I'm gimp suit guy.
It's
and
yours.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, but
Little gimp suit.
I did it to myself knowing that this would happen. All that to say, so Luis and I walk into Hustlers of Hollywood first, but we might have went to like 8 or 9 other, what are they called? Sex shops. They're called sex shops. Went
Shop
to
with
8 or
a
9.
gimp?
And I asked, and every single one had to be like custom made to order. And I'm like, that's a little too insane right now. Also, we need it Sunday, and it
Yeah.
is currently Friday. So we finally go to
so that
Hustlers
was
of Hollywood
quick.
at the end. It's now, picture this. Dramatic pause. Picture this. So me, not that tall, but tall, lanky guy walking in the door. Luis, is a shorter man, and we couldn't be more different aesthetically. He's my best friend in the world. He's actually he's probably one of the closest people in my life. So we always
very
laugh
different
about this
looking
stuff.
humans.
We were the oddest looking gay couple on Hollywood Boulevard that day, because anyone would look and be like, that's an odd combination of people
Buying a gimp suit.
to buy just strolling into sex shops fervently in search of a very specific latex suit. We would walk in, we had a line. We need a latex or PVC suit, preferably for men, but for women, it's fine. And it was latex or PVC specifically, and they would be like, oh, we have nylon. It's like, no, not nylon. It looks bad on camera.
Does it?
It's the shiny one versus like the
more
matted.
matte. And did these people think that you were coming in to buy a pair of them?
Oh, certainly.
Fuck yeah.
Because we wouldn't say anything besides, hey, do you have any, sex suits?
Yeah.
They did. So they had plenty.
I'm picturing like chains and holes and masks that are zipped.
So here's the best part of the story. We're making we're cracking everybody up, just being jovial idiots. And I try on the suit. And when I go to try on the suit, it fits. I report back. They start ringing it up, and I take it off. They added the tag already and just added it. And at the end, we're paying for it. And she goes, do you want to sign up for our membership? And I said, no, thank you. I don't believe I will be back often enough to necessitate that. And she goes, don't worry, I'll just add it to your friends. She points at Louise. Louise has got the Hustlers of Hollywood membership.
Damn, you must have been dying.
He looks at me like, who, me?
Louise.
And I was like, oh my God, it was perfect. You couldn't have written that moment. And then I went to rehearsal with this suit in my trunk. I actually went and did the interview with you the next day. Yeah, I had the suit. I wanted to wear it into the rehearsal with Ken, who you just had on the show. So when this comes out, his episode had likely already aired. I played guitar for this guy, Sugar Pit. Talked about him the first time. Showed up to rehearsal with them. Fully wanted to put the suit on, but it's AMP rehearsal in North Hollywood. I'm going to get kicked out.
I know AMP.
They're going to kick me out.
The studio I worked at for 3 years was, so you got AMP, then you got a shop next to it, and then the one directly next to that is 17 Hertz, or was 17 Hertz, where I have many a story.
Lay it on me. You said got many a story. I want to hear a story. Entertain me, Brad.
It was the craziest place. It was like, they had this massive fucking live room. I started as an intern, ended up becoming a little bit of everything, whatever I could get away with that day. It was where I learned how to smoke a joint for real. It was where I got yelled at for rolling too low, or for too slowly. Actually, I met Hooks on there, who's been on the podcast, he was like my first mentor out here and one of the dopest fucking dudes in the world. But it was just like the coolest, craziest place in the world where shit happened that no human being should ever see.
I don't know why. When you said Hooks, he was my first ever. There was a brief pause. I thought you were going to say my first love. And
could you imagine? We wore gimp suits together?
That would be. You guys worked at a studio together. You met. You fell in love. Yeah. That's a true, romance novel.
It's like an engineer's love story.
Yeah, exactly.
That place was crazy. He
ran the Pro Tools session in a way I had never seen before. The way he plugged in those mics.
He used to go
nonplussed.
He used to fucking yell at me from across the room with a room full of people. Yo, you done with that blunt yet? Because I took so long to roll. But I guess that's
Bradley Slowhand.
For real.
Eric Clapton's going to sue you.
Man.
He's Slowhand. And now you're just
speaking of guitar players.
Jeffrey Beckstein died, dude. I can't call him Jeffrey Beckstein. I said that as a joke, and now I realized I didn't actually want to tie it to Jeffrey Epstein.
I didn't even think about that. I tried to put those together.
I said it. I didn't think it would do that. Why
to Jeff Beck.
To Jeff Beck.
If you're out there,
I love
take
Jeff.
a sip for him. If you don't drink, take a sip of water. Smoke a joint.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace.
Kiss somebody.
Literally the greatest. All I did today was just listen to Jeff. I got home last night after work. I let out an audible. No! When I read the news on my phone. That was more than audible. That was a fervent.
I learned from you. It was like 30 minutes after they came out with it, too.
I saw it. I had a little poop in my pants.
Dude, you texted me. I mean,
oh, fuck.
You must have texted me within 20 minutes at least.
I was already talking to you that day because we had talked about meeting up tonight.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I was appreciative of the text, but I was sad. I'm glad it came from you, though. If it came from a shitty guitar player, I would have been like, oh. Couldn't you have waited?
It's like, oh
I
man,
just dropped it.
I really would like someone else to tell me this news. That's a really funny concept. Be like a bad doctor gives you a horrible diagnosis.
Yeah, I'd rather it from
It's way worse. Like, oh, you know what? He told me that I have lymphoma. I think that's cancer. Is that cancer? Is lymphoma? I didn't want it to be
It
cancer.
sounds like it.
I tried to avoid a cancer, and I might have
I think it's a cancer.
walked it. I was trying not to do those. Aren't funny jokes.
I'm a doctor, so
What's a funny disease? That's a horrible thing to say.
a funny disease.
There's got to be one. This is not a good conversation to have.
But now we have to finish it.
But now we have to finish
What's
it.
a funny disease?
But it has to be something that's really like, okay, rabies is funny because no one's going to die from rabies.
No, people die from. You absolutely die from rabies.
Yeah, but it's like easily preventable and curable disease.
But think about it. I guarantee a high percentage. I don't want to say a lot. A percentage of people who get it are like out in the wilderness or climbing or something and can't get the shot quick enough.
Oh yeah,
And I think it's like a pretty high percent. You know what?
Just go rabid.
We're gonna fact check this real fast. Sorry,
Like,
people.
No one can use the Mount Hain Trail today. Fortunately, one of our guests has been bitten by a squirrel named Squishy, and he's now rabid. He has removed all of his clothes. He's about 2 miles down the pathway. He's screaming, "I need salt! I need pepper!" And he won't stop. We've tried to escort the guest off of the premises, but we've had no luck.
More than 59,000 people die of rabies each year.
How many?
59,000.
59. Oh my god! So I guess it's not funny. Oh man.
That's a lot of fucking
Whatever
people.
I have that's causing me to be this way is
Talent?
definitely funny. No, I think it's just a rough childhood, honestly. But
Hey, but I'm not.
was-
I'm not too different, and I had a pretty nice childhood.
I think I pooped my pants a record time as a child.
I think you
hold
might
that
have
record.
one of the
I think I hold
the
record,
most
man.
fucking wild childhoods to listen to, stories wise. I can't listen to your childhood, but I can listen to stories about them.
I guess you're kind of listening to my childhood
That's true.
when I show you. Well, I'm not saying about anything real. My music is it's stories that I make up. So I guess you could say superficial. That would be a negative connotation, but it is. You know, it's. I try and be very vague. I don't like writing about my life simply because the people I'm writing it about can hear it.
Yeah, that's the issue.
You know, they're not just going to be like, "Hey, man, what's that song about?" Like, that's my one gripe. Is like when people write songs, it's just like and I get it. We need to vent. We have things to talk about, and it's really important to express ourselves creatively. And if you're an artist, that's what you do. That said, you're writing a song about someone who's going to hear it, and like they know. And it's like it's one thing if you're Taylor Swift. It's another thing if you're like Chelsea in accounting releasing her EP on a whim because her grandfather told her over the Thanksgiving break that she had a shot, and now Chelsea from accounting is writing all this, allegedly slanderous things about people in her life and her parents and how they did her wrong. And her parents are like, "We bought you a Mercedes when you were 19. How bad?" Then she goes, "Oh, Mom," and it becomes a whole thing. And that just sounds problematic. So I don't like to do that. I don't like writing music like that.
I'm so happy people are going to get to hear this episode. That was one of the wow. That was one of the most fantastic in the moment stories.
I have no idea what I said.
Something about Chelsea.
Something about Chelsea from accounting. I really think that Chelsea from accounting's new EP. What would it be like? What would you name that? It's like In the Red or something. Accounting
In the Red.
In the Red. You know, that sounds hard. Like if someone dropped an album called In the Red and it was Chelsea from accounting, that sounds hard. That sounds like it goes pretty hard.
With a feature from Economically Sound.
It's like it's a feature from like Gary Vee yelling at you. He's just like, "You got it. Post more TikToks.
10 posts a day.
Oh my god, there's so many posts.
How many could you post a day without going fucking crazy?
Post a day and create a day is a different thing.
But if you're posting 10 a day, then
Yeah,
there
for
has
me,
to be
a ton, yeah.
some sort of input.
So I am doing 2 a day right now, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. I'm trying that out, and in earnest, I haven't seen like a huge jump. I think it's just being a lot more annoying, and people are going to recall what I'm putting out and when, because all I do is show up on their feed. I've stopped really counting the numbers, and just started trying to make an impression?
I think, though, that's one of those steps. I think you see two types of people. I mean, there's a bunch, but you see the people who find this trend or success really quickly, and that's awesome. But then they realize after the success that it takes work to contain it or maintain it. Sorry. Then there's people like, hopefully one day us, where it comes off this. You see so many no's that when you get a yes, you're so appreciative of it, and you're willing to keep working really hard. You already have. If you can work when you're getting nothing and you're still working hard, it'll be probably a bit easier to work when you're getting something versus somebody who hasn't been there before. But making that many a day, and even making one a day becomes brutal because it's like I was just talking to Connor Musara about this, where when you're making something, a song, specifically people in our industry, one of the most common feelings that we can all relate to is the inability to finish something because of judgment or preconceived judgment that's probably not going to fucking be there. Yeah, at least not in the form that we're kind of mingling it into. But I feel like this preconceived judgment is the biggest. It's like the biggest killer. Yeah. The biggest killer of the high. You know, like you're doing great, and you start to realize that you're close enough to show somebody, and then everything just goes, wait, fucking stop. I don't want you to show somebody. Yeah. And it's just this weird fucking path. And I think that's the same with like somebody who can slowly, exponentially make their way somewhere. It really gives them a chance to seep into every step of it and learn how to master the feeling that is associated with that point in being versus somebody who, you know, a million likes and then they only get 500,000 the next day. That 500,000 is devastating. Yeah. Let alone when it goes down to 250,000 or 100.
Man, it's a game that takes a lot of time to play, but it does not require the same. If you looked at it as on like a graph, it'd be more time than skill. And skill is really important, and you need to be able to show something. And at the end of the day, it needs to be entertaining. That's what that's there to do. One thing I really try not to do is I don't ever want to say the words "go stream my song." I feel like if you want to listen to it, you know where to get it. Here it is. I'm going to make you laugh in these 25 seconds or 15 seconds. And I'll just keep doing stupid stuff. And there's nothing wrong with the matter of fact, visit this page. But I think our generation is very sensitive to being marketed to. And we've been sold so many things, and we're constantly being barraged by ads.
Trust me, I live for the experiment. But there is one place in my life that I don't want to be an experiment, and that's when trimming my balls. Luckily, the Performance 4.0 package is here. Inside this package, you will find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, the Performance boxer briefs, and a new travel bag to hold all of your new favorite things. I needed the Lawnmower 4.0 so much more than I ever realized. This thing has a ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, all thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology, a flashlight so I can actually see where I'm trimming. And not only that, but this thing's waterproof, so I can trim just about anywhere. I love this thing, and I love the whole 4.0 package, from the Lawnmower, the Weed Whacker, the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, and all the free gifts they threw in. Trust me, fellas, your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code EXPERIMENT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code EXPERIMENT at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
People telling us to go to their site. The things that stuck with me as a member of the audience were things where I felt like I had made a discovery rather than being told where to look. And all of the artists who I love have a lot of character and are very charming and can convey that in a stylistic sense with the content they provide you on a daily basis. So when there's big releases, and those are the more important, far more detailed variations on the smaller chunks that are posted every day. And I take a lot of time to think about how I want people to see the final product. You know, Plastic is a great example of that. This is the one I think we and everyone involved really did a great job just tying the aesthetic of the whole thing together. And it does not appear that way, and it would be very difficult to convey that on a TikTok. It would be very difficult. So we've decided to do the opposite and just really kind of be funny and work more from a perspective of a meme channel where I'm just trying to make people laugh for 12 seconds.
I feel like that,
the song might be really funny, and they might go check it out if they like it. If they don't like it, that's fine.
Well, and somebody who doesn't like it isn't going to like it with or without words in place or any preface at all. But I think at the end of the day, what this kind of sums down to is, for you, what sings true most to you is just being the most authentic version of yourself. Because I feel like you kind of live a life that's filled in that similar manner. Obviously, there's always going to be emotion and stuff that's left out and stuff that's going to be added. But you enjoy making people laugh and smiling, and like most of our hangouts, where if we're not playing music at that exact moment, we're getting high and laughing.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was built off of.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, you were kind of talking about playing a character a little bit earlier. And I think as much as part of it is a character, and like the gimp suit shit and like the all just like the costumes and stuff, like of course that part is it's fun. But the meaning behind the person, that's not a character. That's like the hardest part, to put on a mask every day and try to remember to stay in character when you're having meaningful conversations. Like it's not
viable.
Sustainable.
I like the ability to, in a sense, especially with the way that I have my my office where I make all my music set up, I can literally close the door on the day and the problems that come with this. And it's been a really wonderful year. My highlight of my week, oddly enough, is my business calls with the gang on Mondays in the morning. It's funny as shit. I've learned so much about these people. We've worked together for a minute, and it feels like I'm running a startup. It's kind of funny.
It's badass.
It's great, man. And we have we're always laughing. I think we talk business for like 20 minutes. There's not much to talk about. Everything's pretty easy. And then we laugh for another hour.
It's like a creative cohort.
Yeah. We brainstorm a lot on TikToks and stuff. And right now we're making the meme intros into the song. The A/B kind of switch up format. And they'll just send me memes and be like, I think this would be funny. Like, it is. Let's do it.
It is.
And I love that. I don't take myself very seriously. I don't think any of us do. I haven't really met anybody. Well, that's not totally true. I've met tons of people in LA who do take themselves quite seriously, but I find that the real good ones are the ones who really don't.
Yeah.
And they are serious, and they have a remarkable amount of skill.
Well, to mean it and to take it too seriously are two different things. You can drive with intention. You can pursue life with intention, but you can also laugh at your failures and understand that they're going to become success if you continue working. Yeah. You can laugh at your fuck ups. If you can't laugh at saying something stupid, then you're going to have a really tough time in life. Like if you can't fuck up and not fall down and cry because of it, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be things where you have to take a few steps back. But if you can't laugh at your fucking mishaps in life, then you're going to have a lot tougher time than somebody who can laugh, brush it off, learn from it, download the information that's necessary, and get on with their fucking day.
Yeah, man. It's I always riddle this. Imagine that someone who made the kind of music that I make, which is very dark and heavy, walked into the room and really took it very seriously. That is a weird vibe.
It's very weird. Like if somebody came in and headbanged while you're doing it with a straight face and just after just looked at you,
Like, it is awesome
Be weird.
to make niche, somewhat, I call it alternative music, but not in the sense of the genre delineation, more in just it's alternative to a lot of people's interests. It in the sense that I think there's a lot of crossover appeal, but it, it's interesting. I love it. It's my favorite thing, as it should be. To anyone who makes music, it should be your favorite thing.
Your intake is so interesting, though, because you could also... You have such a wide variety of what you understand as far as musical and what you download and what you listen to. You just happen to make a certain style that it has these little nuances from a bunch of different places that you draw inspiration from. Who, is there anybody that like you were listening to growing up where you were like, this part of them is something that I really, really love. I want to make my own version of that. I want to use that and create from there.
When I was a kid, I really loved metal music. Like, I grew up on, Megadeth and Metallica and stuff. And it kind of is some of the lamest music now, which I hate to say. I still love a lot of it, particularly the stuff that has lasted. But a lot of that genre and the way that it held itself, I found to be a little... Well, it's cheesy. It's just a time that was okay, and it's still okay to do, but not really my style. However, that being said... particularly, let's talk about like Master of Puppets era Metallica, and you listen to that album back to the front. No pun intended. If you listen to that record, I didn't mean to say back to the front, which is something he says in one of the songs. There's just a fuck it, and it's so heavy, and it takes a real understanding of the world around you to look at it and then disregard it.
Yeah.
And then create accordingly. Where you can do that and it still works. That's really magnificent, because if you listen to that album and you think about the pop cultural reference of it and the absolute staggering amount of money and fame that Metallica has for a metal band, that's so strange and so weird. And I can't think of another metal band that even comes close. There's plenty of iconic metal bands.
Nothing
but
close.
In terms of volume, like album sales, they're on like pop star level album sales to this day.
They're in
insane.
the zeitgeist. I mean,
yeah, it's that's the puzzle I would like to solve.
Yeah.
That's wild. Is how can you still make, really, really punishing music that is in earnest offensive to people's ears on purpose, and it's really sometimes can be quite uncomfortable. How do you make that beautiful and resonant? Not in a sense of resonance, sonically, but literally, like, culturally resonant. Like, how does it permeate into, as you said, the zeitgeist?
Yeah.
That is a very tough nut to crack. What am I? I'm 65 years old. That's a tough nut to crack.
You're an old man.
I'm an old man. I really am an old man. I feel like an old man. But
You are.
I am an old man. I definitely give off old man vibes.
You're old as fuck.
Old man who knows how to not dress like old man. But I'm old man. I definitely have
We're getting old.
old vibes. Yeah. What's another thing is, too, like, I'm a little older than I think most people trying to do what we're trying to do, which is be successful music artists. I guess,
I'm 100% sure that I'm older than everybody that's younger than me.
Right? Did you just say I'm 100% sure I'm older than everybody that's younger than me?
I sure did.
Bradley, that's how that works, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm 100% sure, my dude.
Where's the rest of that other joint you rolled? We need that now.
You know what?
I'm 100%. I want that on a shirt. I am 100% sure I am older than everybody younger than me.
Yeah, no, I am.
In fact, it's you don't even need to have any doubt. There's no room for doubt. That's a fact.
I'm 100% sure.
God, that's an astute observation.
Thank you. I've been studying.
I've been studying. Are you using the torch?
Yeah. One of the one of the things that I realized recently is I think I started taking myself a little too seriously when it came to this podcast, and I was becoming so worried about what people thought of it and the interpretation of it that I was starting to play the role of a host more than I would like. I didn't want to play the role of a host. I wanted to play the role of a human being talking to another human being in the exact same fucking way that I would when we're sitting there enjoying ourselves as humans regularly. You know, I want to smoke a joint the same way that I'm going to smoke a joint with you when we're sitting there shooting the shit.
Talking about Jeffrey Beckstein.
Exactly. Mr. Beckstein himself. The Beckinator.
Rip. Literally to the greatest. Sorry. Bit of a non sequitur. My apology.
No apology needed. And then I just started to realize, like, there's episodes where I'm meeting somebody for the first time and we're sharing stories that we've never heard before, and whatever level they're on, I'd like to match. And it's a really cool experience, but like, there's something so fucking cathartic about episodes like this with people that the hang is no different with a fucking camera or not. Where we can just fuck around. I don't know if anybody's even listening. Are you listening? Are you?
Honestly, probably not.
No, one day they will.
Someone was like halfway through me talking about Chelsea from accounting, and they were like, you know what? I don't think I can get behind this pretty ridiculous guy.
They actually shut their car off and gave it away.
They sold their car. They drove. They didn't even. They bypassed the destination they initially were trying to go to.
Went straight to CarMax.
I was going to say AutoZone does not sell cars.
No, they don't.
I'm going to make that known here on the podcast. AutoZone. My mistake. AutoZone doesn't sell cars. What I was going to say. CarMax or Carvana. You could sell your car real cheap on Carvana. I don't know. I've never tried it. They've advertised to me incessantly. Incessantly. No. What? I'm from Florida, Bradley, but still. Okay? I don't have siblings. Okay? I didn't have that problem. Okay? Born lucky.
This is the highest podcast I think I've ever done. I think I've said that on 2 other podcasts.
I just offended everyone from Florida that has a sibling.
Good.
Also implied that if I had a sibling. Which was not the implication that I was intending. I think it's really funny. This is the stupidest shit. People are going to listen to this. Someone is listening to this right now. Okay. For one person, I hope this is right. Nick! Listen, Nick. Turn off the podcast. Okay? I know you didn't finish the dishes.
I know.
And I know you didn't get the quarters for the laundry. But listen, Nick, those things need to get done. Turn off the podcast. Turn off the pod. Not maybe a
we
different
need them to
podcast.
keep listening. We need retention.
Nick, don't turn off the podcast.
Keep it on, Nick.
Nick, you could actually have this in the background while you do those things we talked about. Your dishes, your laundry. Come on, Nick. Yeah, shit to do.
I think my parents listen to every episode.
Your dad's name Nick?
No, it's Jeff.
Fuck! Okay.
It's like Beck, it's Jeff.
Fuck. Jeff! How are you doing, Jeff? Jeff! Listen, there's some dishes piling up in the sink. I know for a fact the missus is not going to be happy about this. Okay? I know how you feel about your son doing drugs on the podcast.
What drugs?
And I can tell you.
What's your take on mushrooms?
I'm so sorry?
What's your take on mushrooms?
I love mushrooms.
Do you like them in like microdose form where it's a little bit more of like medicinal than it is psychiatric? Psychoactive?
I realize, sorry, it's a brief non sequitur. I have the vape, I have the tequila, and I have the joint. All
triple fisting.
I didn't mean to do this, but I'm going to have to do it.
Wait. Will you hold them up and look at the camera and we'll... Ready? Clip it. See? Look at that. Thumbnail.
Howdy, folks.
Thumbnail.
My name is...
Wait, one more time. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
What are we talking about? Okay, so mushrooms are great. I'm not big, honestly, into really drugs at all. I smoke weed, and that's about as far as I tend to go. When it comes to psychedelics, I really enjoy them. I've done acid a handful of times, and every time was kind of a lot of acid. I think the last time I did acid was with my buddy, and I think we did 3.5 or 4 tabs together, him and I both. And I just remember we were walking in Boston. We were kind of having a weird trip. The trip started like this. So what we would do is we would take the acid, and then we would walk down 6 flights of stairs. I lived on the top floor of this technically 7-story building. We were the 7th story. You'd have to take a little tiny elevator, and I'm talking small fucking elevator, up to the 6th floor. You walk up a flight of stairs in the back of the building to our apartment, and it goes right to the apartment. And it was PH1. And my bedroom opened. There was a patio door to basically the rooftop, and you could see this beautiful Boston skyline. I'll send Bradley a video, and he could post a photo of what my view was for 3 years, and it was great. But we would take the acid out there, and we would walk up the Charles River. There's an esplanade there for everyone who was in Boston at any point, or my Berkeley peeps who were listening. We'd walk up the esplanade, and then we would walk to the Commons. And by the time you got to the Commons, it started to hit you. It's been about 25, 30 minutes. So then we would walk all the way from the Commons down Marlborough Street, which is the street we lived on, all the way on the other side. So all the way where Berkeley was, we'd walk from the Commons down. And that entire cobblestone, brick floors, old school. And those were very uneven. So when the acid's lifting you up, man, it's the weirdest thing. 'Cause there's colors. It's really fall day. I remember it was like September. It was beautiful. And no, it might have been spring. It was in May because we were wearing T-shirts. I have pictures. And we took the acid. We started playing guitar outside, and I guess we were playing kind of loud because someone below us. And when you're tripping on acid, this is a horrible thing to do to somebody. But wow, is it funny? And you should all do it if you hear me. He hit us with the fucking foghorn, dog. He lifts like an air horn while we're jamming. I shat my fucking pants. I'm on 4 tabs of acid playing guitar, probably badly, and it was startling. So we went for a walk. We ended up, after this long walk in the middle of a beautiful spring day, under an overpass somehow. And we just were like chilling under the overpass. When it kind of dawned on me, I was like, man, there's a lot of tents here. Wow, there's actually a lot of people here. Oh my God. we were there for probably 35, 40 minutes in a little homeless encampment under the overpass, just hanging with the homeless people, tripping crazy balls. Like,
that's a lot of balls to trip.
But we didn't notice. We just ended up there. We were just kind of following a vibe. You realize people are staring you down pretty quickly. Like, oh, I have my stuff on me. And this might not end fantastically. We should go. So we ended up walking around the city for another like 2 or 3 hours, just lost on acid in Boston. Like, where do we go?
What not to do, kids? God damn.
And that was the last time I did acid.
That's a lot of acid, too. For anybody who hasn't done acid.
It was awful in a lot of ways, but it was also really nice in others. It wasn't like a bad trip at all, but that was like 4 years ago, the last time I did acid. And you asked me initially about mushrooms, and you were about to say something to all of the listeners who have probably...
I have no idea what I was going to say.
That's apt.
That's normally.
And the last time I did mushrooms was a few months ago with Randy. I had a day off from work, and he did as well, and we just met up. We actually worked on a song that I'm going to redo the vocals for because I don't like my performance. But that was cool, and we did a lot of trippy shit. But I had a bit of a bad trip that day. It was more just like I felt physically uncomfortable and mentally fine. But other than that, when I tend to do it, I tend to do a larger amount, and then I just separate the times having done it by a few months, if not years. And I'll just kind of get what I need from that time.
I feel like everybody uses them differently. I feel like they're so helpful in different ways. Like there's the heavy dose, the 1/8 and up, where the hero's dose 5 grams, where that's not something you're gonna do while also having the rest of your day be anything close to normal.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
But it could be really cathartic to get you out of a huge slump, or to help with a major reset, or to work through a big problem with the right setting, the right people, and the right fucking, By the way, I'm not saying this, but I am saying this. If you possibly soak your mushrooms in lemon juice for like, I don't know, at least like 30 minutes, I think, maybe longer. Look this up. Don't look this up. Then it won't hurt your stomach.
I want to see your legal team be like, listen, Bradley, we hired a stenographer, and we actually wrote out exactly what you said you didn't say in no uncertain terms. You quite literally said, look this up, don't look this up. So you have to commit to at least one of these statements.
Don't look it up.
Don't look it up.
But don't trust me either.
Legal. That's Your Honor. I swear.
I'm not a fucking dude. I am a musician, and I have a podcast where I talk to my friends and get high.
You're still talking to the judge. Like, this is Your Honor. Listen.
I'm doing nothing illegal there.
I've done nothing but implicate myself in several federal crimes
It's not
on a nationally syndicated podcast. Is that how this works on podcasts? It's not national syndication. It just exists.
in the ether.
Well, you get to, you being the executor of said podcast, can determine when people hear this and when they hear any of the stuff you've made. So, but it's not a syndication thing. You don't get like picked up.
I'll be turned into
You don't have to make the what's it called when they have like an NBC. Oh, high five. NBC has like affiliates. They have affiliates. You don't have any affiliate. There's no syndication here. Sorry.
So there's the microdose, and then there's also, or there's the macrodose, sorry, and then there's the microdose. And it's a completely different drug when you microdose. If you're taking 0.25, maybe, if you're taking something around there, then it becomes more medicinal. And it's medicinal in a like a daily form where it's less
You can
psychoactive.
You can like do stuff. It's almost an antidepressant. I've microdosed before and I like it.
If you take enough where you're not feeling a full effect, maybe you have a little bit upward of energy and things are a little bit brighter and you're a little bit more happy, but like nothing where it would change the function of your day. But then over a couple weeks, you'll start to realize how you're waking up with just like less anxiety. You know, you're a little bit, you take the little things as wins more. You are excited about the smaller moments. You appreciate people a little more. It's really, wow. We got fucked up.
I feel pretty good.
I got fucked up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm sorry.
No, why?
I walked in the room gimp suitless.
Yeah, dude, why do you not wear a gimp suit?
Yeah, I still feel kind of a pang of regret that I did not show up. I went home too. That's a problem. I played a gig. This wonderful artist's name is Tucker, and we do these live streams. So I had like all my fucking shit, and just brought it upstairs. I said, "What's up?" to my cats. They looked at me like, "Listen, man, rent's past due." And I said, "Look, I know you're not the one in legal jeopardy here, Robin."
If somebody is on mushrooms and listening to this, they're gonna have a trip.
So to get into the serious, I really am being kind of a dick. I'm having a great time, but I did tell one of the things I've kind of made a bit of a mission of to do this year is to be a little more silly, and the reason for that is it's just a lot more fun for me, and probably, hopefully, it's more fun for everyone around me. I can imagine I can be quite tedious. Which is fine. You know, you gotta find the line to learn where it is. But I've really enjoyed just trying to, or really not trying to, rather doing the opposite, just letting it kind of be, because it is a lot closer to how I actually feel about things. Is usually really stupid. So I'm okay with that. I just love, like someone who I listen to a lot and is a huge kind of hero of mine in a weird way is Conan O'Brien. I'm not trying to be funny in the way that he is making a living out of being funny. I don't want to be a comedian because I would not be good at it. And
I bet you could do it.
Thank you. But even then, I also firmly do believe in stay in your lane. Like, learn your lane, stay in your lane. You can straddle the line of the lane, push the envelope a little bit, but I don't think musicians should go be comedians. I haven't seen it work. John Mayer's tried to do it. John Mayer's really funny. I don't think he's a funny comedian. Sorry, John.
Don't.
No, but John's really funny.
Fuck with John.
John's actually hilarious. That's
my
the thing.
dream podcast.
John is conversationally very funny.
If you're listening to this, John Mayer, I'd love to have you on the podcast to smoke a joint.
I would love to. I would honestly love that too. The guy's he's really awesome.
Watch you guys play some guitar.
Dude, I love watches. I love guitar playing. We could be homies. I'm not talking shit on him as his stand-up. It's not that he's not funny. He is funny, but he would be the first to say this. He's not a stand-up comedian.
No, he's a guitar player and an artist and a musician.
He's good, and he has the confidence to go and do that. That doesn't fit my brand as much. I think it fits his brand a lot more. I would not want to go do that. I just think being funny in social situations is enough. You know, if I could pull that off, that's already a feat that is quite difficult. So if I can do that, that's good enough. I don't want to really take up people's time outside of that. I got to get up on stage. I got to write jokes. I don't got jokes, man. I just say words funny, and I'm really stupid. So it works. It's entertaining.
It's entertaining.
But, I mean, look, what would you do? You'd say, hey, here's a mic, and here's a stool. What do I do with that? I'm going to sit in front of people and talk. That's what I'm doing now. And I don't know what to say. So imagine that. It's just me, wide-eyed like a deer in headlights on a stage. There's
Maybe
20
that'll
people.
be the thumbnail instead.
That
That might definitely be the thumbnail.
They got red velvet chairs and gin and tonics. They're just watching. They're like, boo! Not funny. And I'm just there like, thank you. Have you tried the casserole? They're not going to laugh. It'd be a bad bit that I'm doing at the moment. I'm sorry. I'm really teetering into
Let's end it on that.
reminiscing on something that never happened.
Tell us about your music coming out, your video coming out. I love it.
I'm sorry. That's really funny. It's a really funny place to end it. So Plastic, man. Plastic is coming out at the end of January, the 27th, that Friday. The video comes out the 30th. I truly am, in all seriousness, I know I've goofed plenty for the last hour. I truly am very excited for people to hear this. Very proud.
Is it a song that you could just sit down and hear and just play on guitar and sing?
Yes, but it wouldn't sound like the song. People ask me that a lot. And I remember Abby and I had a conversation about this. She said something about like, oh, but you can't play your songs on an acoustic guitar. I'm like, not in the way that they exist currently, no.
Do you have a version of it that you could do?
I would have to sit down and think about it, but I could do it. It wouldn't sound like
You gonna do it live right now?
right now.
I mean, we'll stop and then we'll put it in. But yes, but right now.
Oh, I don't want to perform if I don't have to. I wasn't prepared for that.
Next time. In a gimp suit.
Totally. I would have totally prepared something because I would have done something like the Close Your Eyes. I'm honestly, in earnest, and I'll say this on the podcast happily, I am not a confident singer. I can hit the notes I need to hit for me. That I wouldn't want to sing for you guys here and sully my good artistic name at the moment.
Next time you owe us a performance in a gimp
I will definitely do that. I could prepare. But
Pretty
I've been
ridiculous.
drinking. I smoked 2 joints with you and had 2 things of
Dude,
tequila.
I'm telling you, I got
What is my voice going to sound
blast.
like?
This is definitely a different podcast than I've done in the past. There'll be more of these because I enjoy them. I hope you enjoy them, but at the end of the day, I enjoy them. So I'm going to keep doing ones where I have fun with my friends and we get messed up. And trust me, there is not many guitar players in the world that can do what this kid can do. So that makes this a music podcast. I love you, Pretty Ridiculous. He's got music. He's got a video coming out. We will see you guys next time.
Drive safe, my friends. And have a
Drive
good night.
safe if you're somewhere.
Nick, drive safe.
And to everybody watching,
I'm Pretty Ridiculous, and this is an experiment.
goodbye, everybody. Thank you, dog.
Of course.
The experience is the experiment.